Do you ever wondered how your words impact others on a deeper level? In this video, we dive into Buddhist wisdom to uncover the 9 things you should never say to anyone. Whether you're seeking inner peace or stronger relationships, understanding these teachings can make a world of difference. Don't miss out on this life-changing advice. Lesson 1. You forget important things all the time. When someone says, "You always forget important things," it's like dropping a rock into a still pond. Hurt and anger can have effects that reach far and wide. When we call someone forgetful, we don't take into account how complicated their thought is. We don't think about the possible reasons for their memory loss, like worry, overload, or just being human. Buddhism teaches us to have kindness for all living things and to understand that everyone is temporary and flawed. Instead of focused on what you forgot, try to see things from their point of view. They might be feeling too busy or dealing with something that is taking their attention away. Remember that the mind is a complicated tool. It can get lost and forget. Instead of criticizing, you should offer help. You could gently tell them of what's important or offer to help them come up with a way to remember. We make room for growth and healing when we treat others with kindness and understanding. Lesson 2. Calm down, it's not a big deal. Saying something like "calm down, it's not a big deal" to someone who is upset is like denying their experience. Telling someone their pain doesn't matter is the same thing. It may not be a crisis that will end the world in the grand plan of things, but to the person going through it, it may feel like one. In Buddhism, kindness is emphasized as very important. We need to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and see the world through their eyes in order to really understand them. When someone is upset, don't try to downplay how they feel. Instead, listen and let them know that you understand how they feel. For some people, just being heard is enough to make them feel better. When we acknowledge their feelings without passing judgment, we give them a safe place to work through their feelings. Remember that everyone has a valid story. Lesson 3. I told you so. If you say, "I told you so," it might feel good at the time, but it's not really a win. It separates people, makes them angry, and breaks down trust. Being right takes our attention away from the more important task of making relationships stronger. Buddhism tells us to get rid of our ego and pride. We shouldn't take pride in our own wisdom. Instead, we should work to help and inspire others. You should help and guide someone when they make a mistake instead of telling them they're wrong. Everybody messes up sometimes. It's a normal thing for people to feel. We build a culture of learning and growth by being kind and understanding when people make mistakes. Don't forget that the point is not to show how smart you are, but to help other people learn and grow. Lesson 4. You're overreacting. If you tell someone they're exaggerating, you're ignoring how they feel. It means that their feelings aren't real or are too strong. In fact, each person has a different emotional limit. Something that seems small to one person could be a big problem for someone else. Buddhism teaches us to understand and care about other people. Every person's pain is real because we are all linked. When someone is upset, don't judge how they're acting. Instead, listen to them and make sure they feel safe enough to talk about how they feel. Remember that feelings are a normal part of being human. They're not right or wrong. When we validate someone's feelings, we help them know that we see and understand them. Just letting someone know that you understand how they feel can help them calm down. Lesson 5. You always complain. Calling someone a complainer is a way to stop talking to them. It means that their worries are not real or important. People may feel alone and angry because of this. Problems and annoyances happen to everyone. It makes sense to want to tell other people about these events. Buddhism stresses how important it is to communicate with awareness. Listen with an open heart when someone talks about their worries. Try to see things from their point of view without judging them. They might be looking for help, advice, or just someone to listen. The Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths, which explain why people struggle and how to get free from it. The first truth is understanding dukkha, which is sometimes translated as suffering, but is more correctly used to mean discontent, anger, and unease. People often show a form of dukkha when they are complaining. We don't have to brush off their worries. Instead, we can see them as a chance to show kindness and understanding. The second noble truth is samudaya, which means the cause of pain. Complaints can come from being attached to wants or dislikes. We can better help people if we know what's really going on with these issues. For instance, if someone is always complaining about their job, it could mean that they are unhappy or don't think their work is respected. We can help them find answers and make changes that last by looking into these deeper problems. Nirodha, or the end of pain, is the third noble truth. To do this, you have to let go of ties and work on being wise and kind. People can get relief from their pain when we listen to them with an open heart. We help their general health and happiness by being there for them and understanding. The road to the end of suffering, or magga, is the fourth noble truth. To do this, you need to practice being thoughtful, wise, and kind. When we work on these traits, we can be kind and understanding to others, even when they are complaining. Instead of focusing on the bad things, try to see what you really need. They might be feeling too busy, stressed, or alone. We can provide better help if we deal with the main reason for the complaint. Don't forget that everyone has the right to be heard. We can change how we treat other people by following the lessons of the Four Noble Truths. We don't have to be defensive when people complain. Instead, we can reply with understanding and knowledge. This sets the stage for better interactions and more peace of mind. Lesson 6. You should just get over it. You can't tell someone to just get over it if you want them to feel good. Broken hearts, grief, and loss are complicated feelings that need time to work through. Ignoring someone's pain can make them feel alone and make their pain worse. Buddhism gives us deep understandings of what pain is. In line with the Four Noble Truths, pain is an inevitable part of being human. It comes from being attached to things that don't last. The fact that we care about something or someone we love makes us hurt when we lose it. We don't have to ignore someone's pain. Instead, we can be there for them with kindness. Buddhism stresses how important metta, or loving kindness, is. By showing loving kindness to ourselves and others, we make a space where mending can happen. Another important idea is anicca, which means transience. Life is full of changes. Death and dying are normal parts of life. Through knowing that everything changes, we can learn to accept loss more fully. Vipassana meditation is another thing that Buddhism teaches. This type of meditation includes watching your mind and body without judging them. By doing this, we can better understand what causes our pain and become stronger. When someone is suffering, tell them to take care of themselves, ask for help from friends and family, and give themselves the time and space they need to heal. We can help others deal with their pain more easily by being patient, kind, and understanding. Don't forget that mending takes time. There isn't a right or wrong way to be sad. We can help others find peace and strength by giving them a safe place to work through their feelings. Everybody has a different journey. Lesson 7. You're so lazy. Calling someone lazy is like putting down their own worth. It could hurt their drive and sense of self-worth. Lack of drive is often caused by deeper issues like depression, anxiety, or physical limitations. Buddhism has deep teachings about what drives people to act and why they do what they do. People believe in karma, which means that our deeds and their results are linked. When we call someone lazy, we don't look at the many complex reasons that affect how they act. They might be having a hard time because they are sick, having emotional problems, or not being sure what their role in life is. Mindfulness is a Buddhist practice that tells us to watch our thoughts and behaviors without judging them. When we approach other people with interest and kindness, we can better understand what they are going through. Instead of focused on calling them lazy, we could ask what problems they are having. One of the most important ideas in Buddhism is the Noble Eightfold Path, which stresses the value of doing the right thing. This doesn't mean always trying to be better or pushing yourself until you're tired. As an alternative, it means learning to act in a reasonable and thoughtful way. When we understand the idea of right effort, we can understand how hard it may be for other people to take action. Instead of blaming someone for being lazy, you should help and support them. They might need help setting goals, breaking down big chores into smaller ones, or finding a group of people who can help them. We can help others get through their problems and reach their full potential by giving them a sense of strength. Always keep in mind that everyone can grow and change. We make room for mending and change when we treat others with kindness and understanding. Lesson 8. You never listen to me. The complaint, "You never listen to me," is common in many situations. It can lead to a strong feeling of loneliness and anger. It's normal to get angry and pull away when we don't feel heard. But most of the time, it's not the listener who's the trouble, but how we say what we need. Buddhism stresses how important it is to communicate with awareness. It's not enough to just say what we think. We need to do it in a way that is heard and understood. When we don't feel heard, it's important to look at how we talk to others. Are we being clear and straight in what we say? Are we talking about how we feel without blaming the other person by using I statements? Both people have to put in work to listen well. It's important to be cool and clear about what we need when we feel like we're not being heard. Use I words to talk about how you feel instead of blaming the other person. If you want to say something like, "You never listen to me," try saying, "I feel unheard when I share my thoughts and feelings." Keep in mind that talking to someone goes both ways. Not only does active listening mean hearing the words, but it also means knowing how the speaker feels. Try to picture yourself in someone else's shoes when they talk. What are they attempting to say? What do they want and what do they need? By truly caring about and understanding others, we make it safe for them to talk to us in an open and honest way. It's also important to pay attention to how we listen. When someone talks, are we really there? Are our phones or other things taking our attention away? Giving someone our full attention shows that we care about what they have to say. It takes practice to communicate clearly. You should feel free to mess up and learn from them. We can make our relationships better and more satisfying by being kind, patient, and understanding when we talk to each other. Don't forget that the point is not to win a fight, but to get to know the other person better. People can build trust and respect by listening with empathy and reacting with compassion. Lesson 9. You're too sensitive. Telling someone they are too sensitive is like denying how they feel. It means that their thoughts are too strong or not justified. Emotional limits are different for everyone. Some things that seem small to one person may be very terrible to someone else. Buddhism teaches us to be more empathetic and kind. View the world through the eyes of the other person. It's possible that they are sensitive for a reason. Being sensitive often means that you care about other people. These are traits that make our relationships and lives better. We build a stronger bond with someone when we respect their feelings. It's important to know the difference between being sensitive and reacting. Sensitivity means being able to recognize and understand feelings, while reactivity means acting on emotions without thinking. If someone is having trouble with reactivity, help them come up with healthier ways to deal with things. Remember that everyone has the right to feel what they're feeling without being judged. By giving people a safe place to talk, we help them connect with each other more deeply. By telling someone they are too sensitive, we are telling them to hide a normal part of who they are. This can make you feel alone, ashamed, and have low self-esteem. Don't brush off their feelings. Instead, acknowledge what they're going through. Tell them that you understand how they feel and that you care about it. We can help sensitive people become more resilient and emotionally intelligent by being kind and understanding to them. Remember that everyone is growing and improving at their own pace. We can make the world a better place to live by knowing how our words affect others. Let's use our words to heal, inspire, and lift each other up.